let me just get this recording, and then looks like Alabama, you're going to be first. Let me get my timer. Okay, begin whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Greetings from Birmingham. My name is Michelle Nichols, and I'm the Pediatric Residency Program Director at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, joined tonight by Brad Anding, who is one of our 3 outstanding chiefs. We really thank you for joining us to hear about our program. We're so excited to tell you about UAB, but also excited for you to hear about all the other amazing programs that are on in our breakout room. Our Pediatric Residency Program is fortunate to be housed in Children of Alabama, and it's the only freestanding children's hospital in the state. We have 97 pediatric residents. This includes 16 med peds and 4 peds neuro and 4 peds genetics. I think if you ask anyone why UAB, they would say it's the people. It's why they came here. It's why they love it here. And it's what they miss when they leave here. They say, I miss working with my best friends every day. I think the other thing people would tell you is that it's the land of opportunity. There's so many things that you can do here. Our clinical venues, our clinical patients, it just can't be beat. We get to see it all. There's so many opportunities in research and scholarly activities, and also in education and simulation. We also have scholars programs in global health and in health equities. We also have a lot of community outreach and advocacy. We love it here, and we hope that you will hear about our program and think that you might love it too. I'm going to turn the floor over now to Brad Anding, our chief resident.
So, why UAB on top of all the amazing reasons Dr. Nichols listed? First of all, picking the South in general, you've already taken a step in the right direction to finding a new home if you don't already live here. I think there's 3 things that all programs need to help you do, and that's become a better physician, become an advocate and an educator, and to become a better human being. And I think the things that make our program stand out, kind of going through that process, starting with physician, we have a very good board pass rate, a 99% board pass rate over the past 10 years. And we do that through questions of the day, morning reports, noon conferences, dedicated board review during your 3rd year, as well as educational opportunities throughout the day while you're on inaugural rotations. We have a very strong sim program here. Our sim center is actually literally the next door down from our residency office and lounge. And we are very active in simulation, both having sims out in the hospital versus going there while you're on other rotations for rotation specific simulation, which I think is a very unique and strong point of our program. We also have something called a special care unit, which is an ICU step down unit that's run by the rest of the hospital and not by the ICU. And that means when you're on hospital medicine, when you're on GI, when you're on renal, you're taking care of very sick children that would otherwise be in an ICU while you're on that service. So you get exposure to the sickest of the sick at all times, and not just while you're in an ICU rotation, which I think is an amazing opportunity. Our PICU is separate from our CVICU. It's 24 beds of pure PICU. We have ECMO, as well as in the NICU where you have ECMO, so you get exposed to that as well. This is a very strong resident run program, and by that I mean that on rounds, the residents lead the rooms, the residents help make decisions. When it comes to procedures, the residents have first crack at all procedures if they choose to. No one's going to force you to do procedures if that's not something that is your desire. We have 9 subspecialties that are nationally ranked, and we have all subspecialties here housed in this building, all of which have fellowships with the exception of developmental, behavioral, and child abuse.
About a minute and a half, guys.
Every window at this hospital is a whiteboard. There's always opportunities for education, and it happens all times throughout the day. And as a bonus, we have moonlighting opportunities for our residents here, both in the NICU and in the hospital medicine service at night, doing admissions and helping with the night crew. As an advocate and educator, talking about expounding what Dr. Nichols said, we have scholars programs that include pediatric residents interested in medical education scholars, our health equity scholars, and our global health and underserved area scholars, on top of a rural primary care medicine scholar program. And so those are excellent opportunities as well. We also have outreach in the form of our coat of arms, as well as food drives and Christmas drives for our primary care patients, where we buy presents for all of our for a select family in our primary care. As a person, wellness is super important to us, and by that I mean we have a wellness committee, we have PEDS timeouts, we have wellness Wednesdays, we have a holiday party that's covered by faculty and fellows that you're completely off. We have resident reflective rounds monthly, as well as bi-monthly while you're in the PICU and the NICU. There's tons of free food, and you cannot beat the people at this facility. It's hard to express the atmosphere here, but it's contagious, and And you will, I 100% agree with Dr. Nichols. Once you're here, it's hard to go anywhere else. Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully I didn't talk too fast. I was trying to get a lot of stuff in there.
You guys did almost perfect on time. So thank you. Thank you for that. Next. Oops. Okay. Yep. University of Florida, you're up whenever you're ready.
Hi. Thank you. I'm Nicole Paradise Black. I'm the residency program director at University of Florida in Gainesville at Shands Children's Hospital. I'm joined by my program coordinator, Megan Lopez, and two of our residents, Toria Edge and Will Lester. I love coming to this because I get to see all the new faces, folks who are going to be coming through the interview season. And I also get to see my program doctor friends like Michelle and Sarah and everybody else. So great to see everyone. I'm not going to talk very long because you can obviously read what's on our slide, but I also want you to hear from our residents. But first of all, I just want to say our residents are fantastic. They're great people. They're great doctors. They do great things. And that's really what we're looking for, is just some really good people. We have the full breadth of specialties here at UF. The slide is actually incorrect. We now have 11 fellowships because we just added pediatric emergency medicine. So let your friends know that we are taking applications this season. I think our curriculum is fantastic. Individualization is the key here. We have tracks, we have academic half day. We have a very long-standing and rich history with our advocacy curriculum, with people doing things all the way up to the federal level. And wellness is also a big focus for us, and our curriculum is founded on community. So everything we do will hopefully bring community together. We have wonderful perks here. We have an on-site daycare. We have paid FMLA qualifying leave. We just got IVF covered for anybody who needs it. So we have some really exciting perks here as well. And I do just want to stress the fact that we are committed to anti-racism, diversity, and inclusion. So we've done a lot of work over the years, but we've done a much more focused set of work in the past year or two. And I'm really proud of all the different things that we've done, including revamping our recruiting process. So you'll be able to experience that as well. So I'm going to pass this on to Toria, one of my senior residents, and she can tell you all about us.
Hey guys, I'm Toria Edge. I'm one of the PGY3 residents here at UF. So in preparing for this talk tonight, I was asked to ask some of my co-residents their favorite things about our program. And without a doubt, everybody's first answer was the friendship among our co-residents. And I can personally speak to that, as my co-residents have become my best friends and honestly family, as I've been living far away from home from Kentucky. Some of the other favorites that came up about our program include the graduated autonomy each year through the 3 years and the approachability of our attending doctors. I honestly think that we have most of our attending cell phones in our resident phone number catalogs, and so we can just call them directly if we need any help at all, which I think is a really special thing. Also, Gainesville is just a wonderful place to live. So you can be outdoors all year round, which I think is amazing. Every Tuesday night, we do trivia at one of the local breweries as a residency program. And it's so nice to be sitting outside just in jeans and a light jacket in the middle of February. So that's pretty awesome. There's beautiful parks here. There's delicious local restaurants that I happen to love. And it's really fun to live in a university town, and you get all of the joys that come with living in an SEC college town, like attending football tailgates and all the other sporting events. As far as unique things that our program has to offer, one of the things that I think is really cool is we do our didactics as an academic half day. And that's where every Tuesday afternoon we meet for dedicated 4 hours of teaching time. And this time is when our paging systems are turned off, our team phones are given to the chief residents, and it's truly a dedicated time for us to learn. Another thing I think is really cool is on our inpatient teams, we do radiology rounds, and that's where we walk down to our pediatric radiology reading room and discuss all of the films on our patients for the week. And that's a really unique learning experience that I hadn't seen elsewhere.
About one
Another cool part that we do here is something called Pediatric After Hours, which is an evening and weekend clinic where we work with Gainesville community pediatricians and learn lots of different practice styles. So overall, we run on a night float system and have only 7 24-hour shifts through our entire 3 years of residency, which I think is pretty awesome. We're the #1 children's hospital in the state of Florida, and we serve a pretty large catchment area. and have almost all of the subspecialty fellowships. And each year we go about 50-50 split between the graduates choosing Gen Peds and subspecialties, which I personally think just shows the unique, diverse learning experience that we get. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we look forward to meeting you all as the interview season goes on. Thank you.
Thank you, Florida. Next is Louisiana State University. Whenever you're ready, guys.
Thanks, Jessica. Hi, everybody. I am Chelsea Sandlin. I am the residency director at LSU here in New Orleans, and I'm a pediatric hospital medicine person by trade. So I'm excited to see you guys tonight and to meet everyone. Our program is stationed at Children's Hospital of New Orleans, which is one of the highlights, I'd say, of our program. It's the largest freestanding children's hospital in the state of Louisiana, and serves as a quaternary care center for our state. This gives our residents a wide variety of exposure to all patient populations, from diversity and underserved population, as well as a wide variety of diagnoses and things that they have to treat. Within that hospital, I 100% would echo what both other programs have said. Our residents find the strength of our program to be this supportive environment and the camaraderie, which I do feel is part of being in the South that Whitney and Bindia mentioned in the first session. Our faculty are approachable. The residents similarly have their numbers in their phones, and also the nursing staff. Everyone's friends and everyone gets along. The other key highlight of our program is the city in which we sit. New Orleans is truly a city like no other. We have that big city with a small town hospitality, and once you come, it's hard to leave. With a rich, diverse culture, food, festivals, the Saints, the Pelicans, Jazz Fest, Mardi Gras, etc. is just so much fun things to do socially after you leave the hospital. In terms of the size of our program, we consider ourselves medium size with 15 residents a year. We have about 75 total residents when you add in our med peds residents and our emergency medicine pediatrics residents. Our residents are exposed to all subspecialties, and we have many fellowships at our institution, including our most recently accredited pediatric hospital medicine fellowship that's going into its second or third year of recruitment. Ultimately, 40% to 50% of our residents do enter fellowship after training, and about 50% ultimately practice in Louisiana or some of the southeastern states once they complete graduation. Our curriculum, we do an individualized track system. So instead of placing residents into one or two tracks, we actually have them select an individualized track based on their career goals and what their ultimate needs are, where they work with their mentor to design and take designated electives that will help them meet those needs. We have things like resident as teacher electives, quality improvement electives, research. There's a parenting elective for our new moms and dads to be able to have some time with their baby at home, but also learn and teach the program about being a parent, as well as we're developing a wellness elective to learn and broaden knowledge on some of the mindfulness techniques and burnout and all of those things. Similarly to many other programs, thank you, we have a comprehensive didactic curriculum. We have a 3-year rotating board review curriculum. So every single month, our board review, our didactics are done based on one system, and we rotate months based on system, as well as med study curriculum through the 3 years of training, so that every resident gets exposed to every single topic to be prepared for their boards. And we've had a very successful board passage rate with those initiatives. We also focus highly on wellness, which I'll point back to, and I think is worth highlighting again, the city in which we train. Similar to many other programs, equity, diversity, and inclusion are incredibly important to our program. We have been working on initiatives for a few years, but some of them our more recent initiatives are a more robust EDI curriculum with cultural humility training for all of our incoming interns and all of our residents. We've started a mentorship program between faculty, fellow, and residents that come from diverse backgrounds to offer additional layers of support, as well as a diversity scholarship and diversity virtual rotation. And then our Children's Hospital has started monthly safe space debriefings with our residents and fellows, highlighting diversity initiatives and bringing together a space to talk about microaggressions that are being experienced, as well as an alliance of underrepresented physicians in medicine to come together and work. We're really proud of these initiatives. I'm excited to see them grow even more over the next few years. And we're thrilled to be able to meet some of you guys, all of you students along the interview trail, and hope that you'll consider looking at our program. You can find out more at our website or follow us on Instagram, which are listed at the bottom. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Louisiana. You guys are doing great with time. You guys are killing it, even with my bad cues. Okay. Next is University of Tennessee Chattanooga. Whenever you guys are ready.
Hello, my name is Carla Garcia. I am the program director, and I'm here with Ashley Thurston, our absolute incredible program coordinator. I have been part of the University of Tennessee College of Medicine program at Chattanooga for the last 25 years. So I've seen this program grow from its infancy almost. One of the highlights of our program, and actually the crown jewel of our program, is that we are part of an innovative X+Y scheduling for pediatrics. That means you have 3 weeks of a core rotation that's followed by a 1-week dedicated ambulatory experience that includes independent study time, community advocacy, scholarly activity time, and all your continuity clinics, as well as your acute care ambulatory care experiences. This allows you to focus directly on your rotation for a full 3 weeks without any interruptions from having to go to your continuity clinic, leaving perhaps a procedure behind or leaving patient care, and then worrying about what happened to your patient while you were gone for 3 or 4 hours in continuity clinic. Our residents absolutely love this scheduling system. This is our 3rd year as we are cohort 2, and other programs around the nation are joining on the bandwagon, this ACGME pilot study. If we remove this X+Y scheduling, I think we'd have a mutiny absolutely in our residency program. Our residents say, we can do anything, Dr. Garcia, for 3 weeks, because we know that we're going to have that 1 week dedicated ambulatory care time to decompress, come in a little bit later, and the dedicated independent study and community advocacy and scholarly activity time. The next crown in our program really is our faculty. I can't say more about the engagement, commitment of our faculty. We outrank the residents 2 to 1 in a 2 to 1 ratio. All our residents have our individual mobile phone numbers, like you've noticed in some of the other programs that have been presented here. We have no fellows, so as a result, there is direct one-on-one teaching with the attendings. As a result of having a smaller program, we have 9 residents per class. Many of our residents are rotating in subspecialty rotations with maybe only 1 or 2 residents, maybe with an M4 or maybe an M3. So definitely you're getting very specific and dedicated teaching on a one-on-one basis. The next crown in our program really is our wellness curriculum and our mentorship program. Our mentors are not only dedicated, but they are actually chosen with specific characteristics in mind to help the resident to make sure that they graduate as a whole being, not only academically, but physically, emotionally, spiritually, and making sure that throughout their program that they have the support services that they need. We have mentor lunches every single month. We have Wellness Wednesdays, skip days, and annual retreats, lots of other activities that go on throughout the entire year to make sure that our residents are in a safe and good space. We recently were just approved for an increase in complement. So this year we have 9 residents in our intern class, and we will again be matching 9 residents for the upcoming year. We will get to our full complement in 2023. Now you may say we're a small program, but really we don't function like a small program at all. Our program has just about all the subspecialties represented right here on campus. That means you don't have to go 3 hours away to do a rotation in adolescent medicine, or 2 hours away to perhaps do your DBM. It's all right here on campus or immediately right across the street.
Got about a minute.
Okay. The other thing that I want to talk about is our diversity initiatives. We have an M4 URIM scholarship available this year. We also have other initiatives to enhance education, not only in our faculty, but in our residents, on implicit bias, microaggression, debriefing sessions, many of the same things that you've already noted in many of the programs that I've already presented. If you want a family feel in a smaller city, but that has all the perks of a larger city, this is the place you're going to want to train. I hope that you're going to take the opportunity to look at our website really closely for all the specific details. We're going to have a virtual tour that you'll be able to see, and lots of video clips for you to see all the different work areas. We've done lots of renovations in our workspaces, so that we hope that you will enjoy applying to our program, when we look forward to seeing you in the near future.
Thank you, Chattanooga. I thought that was my alarm and I didn't think I had my sound on, so that scared me. Okay, next is South Carolina, whenever you guys are ready.
Great. I thought that was my alarm too, and I panicked for a second, so I'm glad that it wasn't. So everybody, I am Dave Mills, and I'm the program director at the Medical University of South Carolina, and I'm joined with a few folks tonight. So my associate PD, Rachel Zwigorn, who heads up our primary care pediatrics residency, a couple of our chiefs, Stephen Bayless and Holly Rose, one of our interns, Katie Darmasri, and one of our third years, Javier Ayala. And first off, when I first logged into this, I saw that 271 participants were on this tonight, which is absolutely amazing. And there's 51 of us in this room right now. So I think it's awesome. And I'm really, appreciative of all of you spending some time with us tonight. I'm sorry you all have to go through a virtual recruitment season, but try to have fun, embrace it. We're all in this together. So just for a quick bird's eye view of our program, as I mentioned, we're happy that we can offer two great programs, both a categorical residency program that has 14 residents per year and a primary care residency program with 3 residents per year. We are extremely lucky to have a brand new inpatient children's hospital, the Shawn Jenkins Children's Hospital, which has now been open for about 18 months, as well as a new pediatric specific outpatient center, which is about 2 years old. And, practicing and living in the beautiful city of Charleston is absolutely phenomenal. And I echo what a lot of other programs have said already on this call tonight, but honestly, the best thing about our program is the people within it. Our residents truly are a family, and you can see how much fun they have working together every day. We pride ourselves on working hard as we care for our patients, but having a good time while we do it. The number of times I have to tell people not to call me Dr. Mills and just call me Dave is always kind of fun, but that's the type of interactions that we really like to have. Other than that, it's always exciting for me to see our residents spending time together outside of the hospital at one of our beaches or going kayaking. And I've heard over time that our residents get together for bachelor watching parties. So I always thought that was kind of fun as well. So to talk a little bit about diversity, diversity is incredibly important to us and to our community, and that starts with our residents in our program. We have a dedicated departmental diversity committee with resident ambassadors, and we have diversity happy hours and monthly dinner and conversation events that include our underrepresented faculty members, fellows, and residents, and we're really building this into our curriculum pretty consistently. Speaking of our curriculum, we stress the importance of providing an individualized approach for every resident's education, and that really is based on what individuals' passions are. We've got an excellent advocacy curriculum. We have a really well-designed approach to get residents involved in quality improvement and research projects. We have dedicated a wellness curriculum with wellness leaders, and basically talk about some individual wellness kind of discussions at our protected academic half-day time. And we really make sure that every resident has a career mentor and a peer mentor to help them as they navigate through residency, as well as choosing electives that are best suited to their career paths. A couple of other unique offerings that we have. So we have an optional track for a global health experience, and that's for people who have an interest in kind of dedicating part of their careers to international health. We also have a medical education track for people who plan to have careers within the medical education field itself. And speaking of options, so outside of our categorical residency program, as I mentioned, we offer a pediatric primary care residency program. And since Rachel Zwigorn is here, so she's my APD and she heads up these efforts. So I'm going to turn things over to her to tell you all a little bit about that program.
About
Rachel?
a minute and a half, guys.
Okay, I can be fast. So the great thing about our slot is we're kind of a BOGO. You get to hear about our primary care program too. Our primary care program is one of the few standalone primary care training programs. We have 3 residents per year. We've been around for about 10 years. We have a 100% board pass rate. And you basically get all the perks of the categorical program. Your intern year is essentially identical. And then during second year and third year, residents will do 4.5 blocks at rotating at community sites. And in order to do that, they end up doing a little bit less PICU, NICU, fewer HEMONC nights, fewer cardiology nights, and there's a few other adjustments. But essentially, you get to focus on primary care. There's a whole bunch more information on our website. But it's really awesome if that's something that you think you're passionate about. We'd love to talk to you more about it. And that's it. Did I do it? Was I fast enough?
You did great, Rachel. Thanks for having us, everybody.
Thanks, Dave.
Yes, you did great. Thank you. Next up, Memorial Health Systemat Joe DiMaggio. I believe this is our last one. Whenever you're ready.
Hi, this is Sarah Hart-Unger. I'm the program director at Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital, and I'm also here with my associate program director, Dr. Carice Pinkney, and our chief resident. So we are going to tag team a little bit. So I know University of Tennessee kind of stole our thunder. No, not really. But we are also an X+Y program, and that is one of the things that sets us apart among the other things we will discuss today. We are not 3+1. Instead, we are a 4+2 program, and we actually don't use the ACGME waiver. Instead, we did some creative tweaking to put continuity clinic in rotations where it fit and avoid putting it in rotations where it would be disruptive, such as the PICU or hospital medicine. So similarly to Chattanooga, that we are able to really allow our residents to focus on the rotations that they are in while they are there and focus on the more outpatient lifestyle while they're in that +2. Similarly, it is definitely a huge wellness perk for our residents, and they very much appreciate having that 2-week like palate cleanser, I call it, between their tougher rotations. We have robust community programs, including a mobile van that serves uninsured patients around the area. We have a very diverse patient population, including many patients who come from other countries. And we have a really unique primary care experience where we actually partner with large private practices in the area and have their attendings integrate our residents into their practice so they get a very real world feel for what it's like to practice in primary care. And before I pass it on to Dr. Pinkney, the last thing I will brag about are a couple of really fun experiences that set us apart, such as our narrative medicine program. We will read a book per quarter that is medically based. Last year, all of our topics focused on kind of health equity and inclusion type topics. So we read some fantastic books and used them as discussion points together and did journaling. And we also have an innovative U18 program where our residents are trained alongside our sports medicine faculty, and they get to serve as sideline docs at area football games. So it's like sports med, adolescent med, and community medicine all rolled into one fun experience. Dr. Pinkney is going to take over and talk a little bit about our curriculum.
Hi, hope everyone can hear me well. Yes. So as Dr. Hart-Unger mentioned, I'm Dr. Carice Pinkney. I'm the APD at Jody. And just to highlight the vast amount of knowledge that you gain from our didactic sessions that we similarly have a month-long themed teaching rotating schedule for our residents. So our noon conferences are themed per subspecialty or per topic. And our faculty is extremely excited and invigorated to take part in those discussions and teaching efforts. And it's definitely been a huge payoff for our residents. And they learned so much from those sessions. So you have like a month of HEMONC, a month of ED, and it's on an 18-month rotating schedule. So that
about 2 minutes.
Great. So that's a great experience for them. And then also to highlight the fact that the 4+2 allows our residents to really be very successful in research opportunities, which has really borne out well for them for their fellowship matches, as well as subsequent job and career activities. So I did want to highlight that before I hand over to our Chief Resident, Dr. Laura Bajilova.
Hi, guys. So we can't talk about South Florida without talking about the great weather and all the beaches that we have access to and all the outdoor activities and being close to the glamour of Miami. We have residents who have lived kind of all over, from Miami to Fort Lauderdale to anywhere in between. And of course, Hollywood also is amazing as well. I think I pride myself in that we're a smaller program, but I call it intimately sized. We're all very close. We work well together. We're also very ingrained in the community, which I think is something that is extremely special to us. We have a lot of opportunities for community research and outreach. So we do a community-based program as well during our 3 years here. We take care of a very diverse patient population. It leads to a breadth of pathology. And it's just very culturally diverse. It's expanded my Spanish, and I didn't have any before, so that's always good. And last but certainly not least, we are growing in many ways. So both physically, we're expanding by several floors, and this construction will be done by the fall of 2022. So just in time for you guys. And we're also constantly developing the program and the curriculum itself. And that's just by nature of being a new program. We're constantly evolving. So as an inaugural, a member of the inaugural class, I'm very, very, very proud of our program and being part of the Joe D family. And I know you guys will too. So thank you for having us.
All right, thank you guys. I would like to remind everyone listening to some of the program directors that we do have a calendar of events that if you have open houses, virtual open houses, any virtual events, you can add them to the Future Peds Res website, and then everyone will have access to it. So that's a really useful tool for everyone to kind of see what's going on what day. Now we have about 10 minutes for Q&As. If anyone wants to take the floor, if not, I have some chat questions I can bring up. Okay, I will go ahead and read some from the chat. The first one asks, when reviewing applicants, do you review applicants holistically? If you do, what do you use as your holistic criteria for your program?
I'll start just to get the conversation started. At LSU Pediatrics, we do use holistic screening of applications. And we have a committee of 10 members who divide up applications to screen amongst themselves with a sort of a spreadsheet that checks us through the holistic review, looking at things like volunteer activity, leadership positions, research involvement, as well as life story and personal statement. And included with this year, we'll be able to review the dean's letter during the screening process, which will be nice and new for all of us programs getting it on that same date. So we look at really several things in terms of number of activities that you're doing or strengths that you have that are separate than just your step score, because we truly believe that the score should not be all that defines an interview invite.
And I can probably piggyback off of that, Chelsea. So yeah, I think having a holistic approach is really important, especially as you are the last really lucky class that gets to have step 1 scores before it goes to pass fail. So it really is important to emphasize all aspects of an application. So just like Chelsea mentioned, advocacy and leadership experiences and research and QI and letters of recommendation. So there's so many different things that go into it, and it takes a village to review the large volume of applications that we have. So we have to develop some type of scoring tools that we can apply. And so that's the way that we do it. And I imagine that most programs are pretty similar. So Dr. Black, I apologize for jumping in and cutting you off.
It's okay. We're all excited about this topic, right? So I would also add life experience is really important as well, whether it's, work experience or something that's in your life that's really contributed to why you want to be a doctor, why you want to be a pediatrician. So we look at it all. as I said earlier, we have completely revamped our interview process, our whole recruiting process. And I do want to give credit to UCSF, who published their process recently. And so we've been able to follow that. We've just recently worked on a shared mental model of what type of person in pediatrician we want here, what qualities are we looking for. And now having that, we're able to sort of walk it back into, well, what in the application will tell us if this is, the qualities that we're interested in. So it really is just putting the whole picture together. And I agree, especially with the standardized tests, we know there's structural racism in those processes and those tests. And so they're important, but they're certainly been downplayed a lot more, for us at least.
And I know for our primary care program specifically, we love to see a demonstrated track record of commitment or passion for primary care. So an applicant who has done a primary care track in their med school, or who has a real longitudinal experience in a rural community, things like that really stand out and are big assets for us when we're looking at an application.
I must agree that we want to look at the application as a whole. So from your personal statement through the comments that are put on your clerkship to your hobbies and your interests, your community service activities, looking at all of those things is what we're looking for the ideal applicant. So I agree with everyone else.
Yes, and I would agree with everyone. I think we want people that aren't the cookie cutter. We want a diverse population, I think, of residents. I think the differences make us stronger. And while we will definitely look at the academics that are before us, like in your dean's letter and how you performed on the pediatric rotation, I think it's as much as what your work ethic was like, were you vested in your patients? I think those things are the things that we want to see. We've had a lot of residents that we have had in our program who have failed step 1, step 2, and they proved over and over again that while those are important and they're necessary evils of some sort, it does not state what kind of physician you're going to be. And so we love looking at the whole picture and putting people with different interests, different talents, different leadership skills all together. And so I think it's fun for us to put together our residency rank list and how they're all going to bring something to the table.
Step 1 was not my best day as a doctor or a student, and I'm chief resident at a great program, and so don't let a single test define you as a person. We look at a lot more than just that.
All right, thank you for all those amazing answers. Definitely easing nerves, I'm sure. We had a question about non-US international students. They would like to ask the program directors if you consider non-US IMGs more than 5 years of graduation that have been practicing in their home country.
I'll kick things off and say that, along the lines of reviewing an application holistically, we also try to make sure that we capture all of our applicants and give them, the appropriate review, regardless of kind of their background, where they're coming from. So certainly that would be a group of applicants that we would be happy to consider as part of our application process.
And I would echo what Dr. Mills has said. And so, and particularly if you've been working clinically, I think that really, a lot of folks who do that are really ready to come and be a resident. And so I think that's an important thing as well.
We currently have a combined peds neuro resident who is from Jordan. And we recently, whenever I first started here, had a resident who had completed a neonatology fellowship, or what version of that, in Ireland prior to coming over here, and he completed his residency with us and then became a neonatology attending here at the hospital. So we definitely look at those things as well too.
Okay, and we're almost out of time. So to wrap it up, any advice going into virtual interviewing season now that you have had 1 year under your belt?
I think just relax, and it's hard. It's easy for us to say that because we've been through it for a year, but I was pleasantly surprised by how smooth everything went last year and how easily we were able to get to know the applicants. But also just know that we are looking out for your best interests. We want you to be comfortable. There's always glitches, but we, as pediatrics nationally, are really a nice batch of people, and we're going to support you along the way. And I know several of the program directors on this call, and I would call all of them nice and non-intimidating. Hopefully they think the same of me. So we're here for you too, and we want you to have a good time.
And I would just say, talk to the people who've interviewed before you. Use the other students, the residents that have interviewed and maybe even visited the places when we were able to do that. Talk to your fellows and faculty. They know about different places and they can give you great advice as well. But I, along with Chelsea, would just say, enjoy the journey. This should be fun. If it's stressing you out, step back and take a deep breath, because this is really your time. Your congratulations on getting to where you are now. We already know you persevered through a whole lot, so we already have great respect for you, and this should be fun. So try and find ways to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's completely normal to be a bit anxious or nervous, but just be yourself. That's the bottom line. Just be yourself and it will all work out fine. Just be yourself.
I think one thing that's very important is that you review the websites, and also if the program is offering a residence Zoom meeting the night before or after the interview process, that you should try to attend those, because that's where you're going to get a lot of the nitty-gritty information that maybe you really want to know without the program directors or APD being actually in the room, just like you're going to experience now in just a few minutes. But each program probably has one of those sessions, as well as an intricate website with the majority of our questions answered if you just spend the time going there and looking at their websites.
Lastly, I'll say is take notes, because programs will run together. So keep a living rank list. As you interview at different places, figure out where they fall on your rank list and follow your gut. We're all here. You come to interview with us because we love you. So just recognize that. Don't be too nervous.